Welcome to ClueCon Weekly. Join us every Wednesday to learn about the latest cutting-edge developments in the real-time communications industry. ClueCon Weekly is brought to you by FreeSWITCH Solutions. Get support and professional services directly from the creators of the FreeSWITCH open source project, solving your issues in the most efficient, stable, and scalable way possible. Get the FreeSWITCH advantage. Visit freeswitch.com. Also brought to you by ClueCon, the premier technology conference for developers by developers. Join us every summer in Chicago. ClueCon kicks off on Monday with our annual hackathon, The Coder Games, followed by 3 days of technology-rich presentations discussing telecom, WebRTC, and IoT from developers around the world. To learn more, visit ClueCon.com or call 877-74-CLUE.
Yeah, welcome to ClueCon Weekly. Today is the 3rd of October, 2018. And this week we're going to be joined by Italo Rossi. For you guys that don't know Italo, he is a longtime FreeSWITCH user and contributor from Brazil. He's done a lot of cool work, including Verto Communicator. He does a lot of work. He's done a lot of work on Confluence and even on Mod Call Center. He's done a fair bit with that. So he's going to be showing off some of the cool things that they're doing down at Evolux today. So stand by for that. First, let's go over and see Miss Abby for the news. Abby, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great today. Thanks for asking. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today on ClueCon Weekly. If you have any thoughts or questions during this call, please comment in the YouTube, Peep Chat, or IRC channels, and we will address them live during this call. And if you're watching us on YouTube right now, please give this video a share. Also, right now is the perfect time to follow FreeSWITCH on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter because a lot of exciting things are happening. For example, FreeSWITCH 1.8.2 is released, and FreeSWITCH is going on the road. So the team's very first stop is at AstraCon, which is in just 1 week time. You can find us at booth 101, so please stop on by. We would love to chat with you. You can also catch Evan McGee speaking at 10 a.m. on that Thursday and that Tuesday. Anthony speaking at AstraCon at 11:15 that Wednesday. And you will definitely want to find us at Happy Hour because we are bringing a lot of fun stuff with us, including our exclusive Signal Wire Cards Against Technology game. All right, thanks for listening. Back to you, Ken.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Abby. So now, guys, hey, we're going to go over and we're going to talk to Mike Malverudas. Who do you got for us today, Mike, for Community Corner?
So today, Mike Jarvis is going to be answering the question. And the question is, it's from Julian. Julian asks on the mailing list, "Hi all, I've been deploying FreeSWITCH 1.8 package on Debian 9. When trying to connect to my own external Postgres database, I get this message. Critical, switch core, Postgres failure, not available. I can't connect to the DSN DB name, blah, blah, blah. Is there a way to query the core DSN database type from this FreeSWITCH CLI? Thanks for your help."
All right, cool. So we've kind of addressed this previously, but now that 1.8.2 is out and all of that, I want to address it again. In 1.8.1, Postgres was disabled in the core. The 1.8.2 packages are out now, and that is back enabled. And also, we've done a bit of a revamp of our install instructions and package dependencies. So please check out the documentation on Confluence for the Debian install. It now has updated stretch install docs as well, which is what we recommend. And double check your sources list. The repos have changed around a little bit. We've added source repos as well, which enables, instead of that goofy package to install all the deps, we can now use regular old apt-get build dep. Which should be a little bit more normal Debian apt familiar with people. So check those out. You may have to modify your sources a little bit for all those pieces to work. It is much cleaner. and we'll get you the right things. And 182 is what we recommend, and it will fix all of these issues, so please update.
And there's a new key too, so you're gonna have to import a new key, right?
I don't. It depends on when you've imported it. For Stretch, there's definitely a new key. If you get a key error, you'll just want to import the key that's in the new docs, and that should work out for you.
Cool. Thank you, Mike.
Yep. Thank you.
Answers from the experts. And back to you, Ken.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Mike and Mike. So we're going to jump back over to Miss Abby. I think you've got some blog stuff for us today, Abby?
Yes, so I'm back. Welcome to the blog spot. So every week we post a blog on our FreeSWITCH website that discusses different contexts of technology. And every week on ClueCon Weekly, we're going to touch on some of these ideas. So in honor of the beginning of October, we're going to talk about something a little bit spooky. Are the advertisers listening to us through our phones? So I think that everybody with a smartphone has had this thought before. Like, are these advertisers actually listening to what I'm saying? Because a lot of these things seem way too eerie to be a coincidence. For example, you're talking about a specific item and you never look it up, you never email about it, and yet there it is. You see an ad for that same item on the side of your Facebook timeline. It has happened to me literally so many times. The other day, I was talking about those UV glasses that filter out the blue light from your computer, and I didn't text about it or Google them or anything. I just randomly said this thought out loud, and an hour later, I saw an ad for them in the middle of my Instagram feed. Very spooky. So I looked it up, I did a little digging, and in terms of technical ability, it is definitely possible for companies to hack into your phone microphone. In fact, it's actually not very difficult at all, but the real question is, do they? So a former Facebook operations manager claimed that advertisers have so many other ways of keeping tabs on us that it's just not necessary to be listening to our conversations. He also said that gathering and analyzing that many audio streams would be way too expensive for companies, and it would take up a lot of space, and we would all definitely notice our phone bills going up from all the data that was being used. Plus, if Facebook were to use the same trigger word technology that Alexa and Google Home do to trigger their ads on our feeds, our phones would be operating a lot more slowly. And the speech to text translation would have to be running on your actual cell phone. And Facebook currently has about 1 million trigger words that they use to trigger their online ads through their online tracking. And so for your phone to be listening to each and every one of these trigger words would make it really, really slow. So again, experts are telling us it's not a very practical way to gather data. They also say that advertisers already know almost everything about us just from gathering what we post on social media and search for online. So there really is no point in listening to us. Legally speaking, this whole stalking thing is a little bit dicey, but companies get away with it really easily by asking us for permissions when we buy a new app or visit a new website, and most people say yes to these permissions, especially without reading them. So that gives companies a wide array of access to a lot of data we don't even realize that we're giving up. Google has the widest access to this data. They have trackers on 60% of the websites in the world, while Facebook has trackers on 23% of these websites. They can also track the websites that your family and friends go to and then send you ads based on what your family and friends are looking at. They can even track 70% of debit card and credit card transactions. It's also really, really cheap and easy to track your physical location, and advertisers do that all the time. For example, they'll send you a coupon code if they know that you're physically near their store. And the Facebook app even asks user permission to read our text messages. So they have a lot of access to data, so it doesn't really seem like they need to be listening to us. Both Google and Facebook have released public statements promising that they do not listen to our IRL conversations. So in reality, I probably got an advertisement for those blue light glasses that I was talking about earlier because I bought sunglasses 2 weeks earlier. They probably saw me doing that and thought, she likes glasses. She might like these too. So they might be listening to us. They could be listening to us, but they don't really need to put in all that effort when they have access to literally everything else that we do online. So those spooky apps are probably just a coincidence. Oh. All right, thanks everyone for listening. Make sure to check our FreeSWITCH blog every Thursday for more content, and be sure to tweet us at FreeSWITCH to let us know what you think. All right, thanks everyone. Back to you, Ken.
All right, thank you very much, Miss Abby. So now we're going to get over back over to Jersey Mike and Mr. Italo Rossi. Mike, Italo, how are you guys doing today?
Wonderful.
I'm good, thank you.
So Italo, what do you have for us today?
So I'm planning to talk about Evolux, which is my company here in Brazil, and we have the product also called Evolux. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the product, what we are doing these days, and a little bit about the company.
Great. So let's hear about it.
All right. Is it ready? My slides. I can't see on the video because I have some bandwidth issues. Okay, I can see now. So hello guys. Thank you for having me here one more time. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe the first time I was invited to speak here about Evolux, and I will try to demonstrate what we have been doing in the last year or more. Okay, so I'm Italo. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Evolux. Evolux is a call center management platform. It's the name of the product and the name of the company. This product, we built it so we can deliver to our customers an easy way to manage small, medium, and large call center. In terms of you can create your queues, your agents, manage some configurations, how many agents can join in the queues, the queue configurations, and things like that. So we can see here the main screen at the left, the agent screen, which is the screen that the agent spend more time taking calls, selecting the call reason. So if someone calls to them to talk about an email problem, for example, you can classify that call on Evolux and generate reports based on that. We also have a lot of real-time panels. We like that. I think it's the biggest feature that from our platform. We have a lot of real-time panels that you can see real-time information and take decisions based on that. So the left black panel is we call it like the overview panel, where you can see the channel occupations, how many channels from which seat trunks are being used, how many calls are in the queue on the call center, how many calls are in the IVR, how many calls are running in the automated dialer, and things like that.
And all that information, that's really valuable to call centers.
Oh yeah, so we try to give the supervisors and managers information that they can react. So if they are working and see that, whoa, there's a huge queue waiting time on that specific service, what can I do? We give to them SLA metrics for the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So if the SLA is getting worse on the 5 and 10 minutes, that's the time to react now. So you can see how many agents are paused, and or if you need to hire someone, things like that. So
there are also assessing the efficiency of the agents is very important too.
That's correct. Yeah. So we can see here the left image. We can see the SLA about the time that the caller is waiting to be answered at the queue. So you can set up a target. For example, I don't want my customers to wait more than 20 seconds on my main queue. And as soon as the calls are getting answered, are flowing, we're going to generate some statistics and show to the supervisor in this graph and also in this table here. So we have 5 minutes, 30 minutes SLA metrics, both about the time that the caller is waiting the queue and the time that the agent is spending handling the call. So I want my customer to wait not more than 20 seconds in the queue, and as soon as he gets answered, his problem should be solved in 3 minutes. So you can set up this per queue, and we will generate some reports. Also, this another picture you can see. It's a traffic analysis tool that you can easily see if you have overstaffing. Overstaffing is I have a lot of people that is working here. I'm spending my money because I'm paying for them, but there's no calls to be taken. So this is one big problem on managing a medium to large call center. And also the opposite, if you have understaffing. So you can see graphically where you need and what time of the day you need to put more people. And for example, if after noon, from noon to 1 p.m., we see here a lot of green bars. That means I have a lot of agents that are doing nothing. I can move them, the shift of them to the early morning, because between 9 a.m. here, there were some calls waiting the queue. So you can take decisions like this one with those reports. So this is basically, there are a lot of reports, more than 20, I think. And we built that product. And how do we deliver it? So in the beginning, we use it to deliver the Evolux as a single box. So you can think like an appliance. So we get a nice server, install Linux, put all our software stack on it, and the web API, the web app, database, MySQL at that time, Redis, and FreeSWITCH. We set up some monitoring, pack, and send to the customer, and this will be set up on the customer premise. So he can just receive at his own company and put in the rack and power on and start using it, configuring and managing what he wants. And then after we did that a few years ago, we have been asked about redundancy. So what should I do if this box that you sent me fails? If it broke, what can I do? We started implementing the active and standby pattern. So you can imagine that as two boxes, pretty trivial. Two boxes, one is managing all of the traffic, doing all of the work. The other one is just waiting to be active if the primary fails. So we do that by setting up a dedicated communications between these two boxes, starting the heartbeat software and replicating some important settings and database files, recording CDRs, things that our app needs to continue the work if the master box fails. So we use DRBD, the Distributed Replicated Block Device. It's like a Radio 1 through the network. So I can guarantee here that what I have on the first box, on the disk of the first box, it will be replicated to the second one. So in a matter of seconds, if we shut down the first box, in a matter of seconds, the IP address will float to the second one. All of the disk partitions will be mounted, and the services will be started, and all of the telephony will be covered. Okay.
And so that's got to be in the same data center, right?
Yeah, same data center. Yeah. So this is useful for hardware failures. If you have a power failure, a motherboard failure, a disk failure, or any other hardware issue that you can't just use the primary box, you have a second one exactly at the same state. So you have all of the disk blocks replicated to the other one. This
Wow, and so
replication
you
is
have
synchronous.
you have all the statistics synchronizing between the two devices and everything?
Yeah, that's correct. Because all this replication is synchronous. So as soon as you try to write a block to the disk, the DRBD driver will send to the other box. As soon as the other box confirms that this block was written to the other disk, it will go back to the app and say, "Hey, it's okay. This block was successfully written, so it's replicated."
That's cool.
And what we use as software, so we use FreeSWITCH. We did not start with FreeSWITCH. We migrated from Asterisk a few years ago. I don't know how many years, but maybe 5. I'm not sure. But now we only use FreeSWITCH. We started using OpenShips this year. We use a lot of Python, Elixir, which is a kind of new programming language that runs on top of their LangVM. It's awesome. RabbitMQ, Redis, PostgreSQL, Angular, and React. This is basically our software stack. And now we need to grow. So how do we convert a huge code base that was written to build a monolithic software to a distributed, scalable, fault-tolerant, and also multi-tenant? Because before that, Evolux could be used for a single tenant, because it doesn't make sense if I'm going to send you an appliance to your company, it's just you that will use. So we had the feature request to be multi-tenant, and also break the app in various in multiple points of failures, and those points needs to be redundant. So how do we do that? Right now we did. The app is running. It's running good, but we faced some issues, some challenges that, and this is what I want to share with you guys. So the end product is something like that. It's a very ugly draw. So don't look too much to it. It's just a bad picture. So Evolux as a multi-tenant distributed application. What we had to do. So we rely a lot on the FreeSWITCH events to build the real-time panels. So we had to distribute the processing of those events. Also distributing the processing of the CDRs, because we're going to have a lot of FreeSWITCH boxes. So we need a way to concentrate all these efforts to receive the CDRs and process them and generate the database records that will be used to generate the reports, the analytics. Also, scaling FreeSWITCH. On the first picture on the agent screen, you can see that there is a web phone. So since the beginning, we started using WebRTC with Verto, and we had to scale that. So we had to do some very interesting architectures to archive that. So Verto automatic distribution, and also a CP proxy in front of the FreeSWITCH. And the goal was distribute and concentrate registration, do the session affinity. This is to avoid the nightmare transfers. I think this is very common when you use a CP proxy to share load between FreeSWITCH boxes or asterisk boxes and whatever. And also doing the load balancing of FreeSWITCH. So I want to make sure that all of my FreeSWITCH boxes have a good amount of calls and they are proper distributed across the cluster. So before that, when we started developing this new, almost a new product, we were generating static XML files. So when you were using the web interface, let's say that you created an extension and you need to hit save button, and that save button will start a background task that will generate all of the configurations that FreeSWITCH needs to make that extension work. But for an on-premise solution for a single customer that you don't do a lot of actions, creating extensions, editing them, you don't do this too much in a single day, it's fine. So it was working fine. But if you imagine that you're going to deploy this as a cloud product, as a multi-tenant, and you're going to have a lot of customers using it at the same time, we can't rely on that architecture. So we decided to move the dial plane logic to XML curl, and also a few specific parts are made with mod Lua. This was the first change that we did. And also, regarding
so where are you making the request from? Are you using something like Varnish or HA proxy for redundancy as well?
Yeah, we use a lot of AJ proxy. And if you imagine the FreeSWITCH part of the stack, we deploy the FreeSWITCH, and also with FreeSWITCH, we put there a service that will be responsible to keep that FreeSWITCH up. So all of the FreeSWITCH boxes we acquired for the dial plane from localhost. If the local service fails, there are some other backends that can be queried across the cluster. But if you want to keep the latency of getting the XML files minimal, we just deployed the dial plane service to the same server that FreeSWITCH is running, so they can work just alone.
That's cool.
And since we have a lot of FreeSWITCH servers, we had to distribute the events. So we know that FreeSWITCH can generate a lot of FreeSWITCH events, a lot of call events, channel create, channel execute, channel hang up. The mod call center generates a lot of events that you may be interested to build a real-time panel. And in order to get those events from the multiple boxes, we can't rely on a single process to process all of them. So we had to create multiple workers that can be started on multiple boxes. So you have a flexible amount of workers. It can increase depending on your load. So in a specific time of the day, you can just have one box, two boxes. And if you are hitting a call spike, you can spawn a little bit more, and they will process in parallel all of the events. But the thing is, we did that, and we do rely on the events to build the real-time panels. And we just figured that the event order matters, because I can't process an event, for example, a channel hang up, and then process a channel answer for that same call. If that happens, I'm going to put a call at the panel, but that call is already dead. So I will be expecting to a channel hang up to come. So it won't work. And to solve that, we used Redis as a synchronization source. And basically, for every event that we get from FreeSWITCH, we execute a hash function to that event that will return to me a unique identifier based on the event. If it's a commodity call center, switch, menu, if it's a call event or an event generated by a custom module, it will return for me a unique identifier, and I will lock that event on Redis. So Redis is acting here as a distributed lock server, because when I do that, I can synchronize the event with the timestamp. So for a specific call, I know the timestamp of the last event that I processed. And if I get a new event with an older timestamp, I can just drop because it's out of order.
That's really interesting. And the talk that I did this past ClueCon was about using call UUIDs with Redis and using those to authorize calls. So very similar type thing. It's really interesting, and way to start handling this stuff, because when you start using a database that's as efficient as Redis, you can start doing some really interesting things.
Yeah. I love Redis. It's awesome.
Yeah, me too.
So we end up with architecture similar to this one. So we have here in the left the FreeSWITCH box. We built a process called ESL client that will connect it to FreeSWITCH and start receiving the events. And those events will be queued at the RabbitMQ. So RabbitMQ will be responsible to receive all of the events from all of the FreeSWITCH boxes that are working in the cluster. And at the other side, we have the workers. And those workers, they are built with a plugin architecture. So when I receive a channel answer, for example, and I have all of that technical information from FreeSWITCH, I will get that event and pass that event through all of the plugins that are registered, and the end product of that event will be a smaller one, like a dictionary, with all of the information regarding the Evolux language. For example, if you have an extension 100 and you just started an inbound flag to FreeSWITCH, FreeSWITCH will generate a channel create event. The channel create will become an Evolux call event, and as a dictionary, that dictionary will have the extension ID, extension name, extension permissions, destination, caller ID, all of the information with less technical overhead that we can just flush to Redis. And from Redis, all of the panels are subscribing to a topic, and that same dictionary will be sent to the browsers through a WebSocket connection. So one of the plugins, the very first one, is just the Evolux call that will translate the FreeSWITCH event to a smaller one and beautiful one that all of the developers here that doesn't know about FreeSWITCH can understand. And for example, we have a second plugin called Zendesk that could be a plugin for integration. And if this call that is being dialed, I can use that information to query Zendesk to see, hey, this is a customer of my organization. And if yes, there is any tickets opened to him, and the Zendesk plugin can just increase the size of the Evolux call event with all of the Zendesk information. And when that event is sent to the browser, you can just display, hey, this is a call from Ken Rice. Here is his email, and there is 2 tickets open in Zendesk about this. This one is talking about an email problem, and this one is talking about a DNS problem. And you can just pop that out to the agent screen.
That's neat.
Uh,
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you. So the next one was the Verto automatic distribution. So since we rely on Verto to do the calls to agent to get the calls, and we're going to have a lot of FreeSWITCH boxes, how we deal with the following scenario. For example, you have the 101 extension at tenant 1 and 102 at tenant 1. And as soon as the agent tries to log into them, the Verto web phone that we built will do an API request to our API, to the Evolux API, and say, hey, I want to use the 101 extension. Please give me an available FreeSWITCH server. And based on our logic, for example, the FreeSWITCH one is have more room to handle that extension, so give the FreeSWITCH one credentials, and to the 102 it will give the FreeSWITCH 2 credentials. And then if the 101 tries to dial the 102, as soon as the Verto extension is authenticated, we receive the Verto login event, so we process them. There is a plugin to store all of the locations where the Verto extensions are registered. So I will get an event with Verto login and the host, and I know that 101 is logged as a Verto endpoint in the FreeSWITCH 1 box. So whenever someone tries to dial that extension, if the call is not inbound to the same FreeSWITCH server, just use the FreeSWITCH cluster profile to dial the right FreeSWITCH server that has the Verto registered. So we also store that in Redis.
You're doing that with message queues?
Sorry?
How does that work? That works with message queues?
Yes, yes. In the beginning, we built a custom C module, like mod Verto presence, but we just dropped it, and it was easier to implement with events because we already have an infrastructure that can deal in a good way with all of the FreeSWITCH events. So I can even prioritize some events between others. For example, the Verto login, log off, the Sophia login, Sophia connect, disconnect, they have more priority than channel create, channel hang up complete, things like that. So I can queue them on different queues at RabbitMQ.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so we have a worker that can watch for that queue and say, hey, there's a new extension logged at that FreeSWITCH server, and it's a Verto endpoint. So start this in Redis. The 101 is connected to the FreeSWITCH 1 of its FreeSWITCH 2 box. And when you try to dial, it will see, hey, someone is trying to dial a Verto endpoint, so I need to go to the location function to see the proper destination of that call, if it's me or if it's another FreeSWITCH box. And for that, we have a dedicated cluster profile that all of the FreeSWITCHs have, and they authenticate between each other by the IP address.
Cool.
An interesting thing about that is, if you want to use a Verto endpoint, you can easily see the extension's password, because if you go to the inspect element, to the console of the JavaScript, the browser, you can try to see the request coming back with the, hey, connected to the FreeSWITCH 1 with this extension and this password. So this is easy to get stole. So when the agent starts working with that extension, and doing calls, taking calls, whatever. When the agent clicks finish working, we release the extension and we shift the passwords. So if he tries to use the same extensions right after that, it won't be possible. That's how we try to make it a little bit secure. Another thing that we did was implementing the OpenShips, and this is I think this was the biggest challenge for us because I know FreeSWITCH very well. I'm very comfortable in doing FreeSWITCH configurations and reading the code of FreeSWITCH, whatever. But OpenShips was very different. It was a cool challenge to learn OpenShips. And
Yeah, there's definitely there's a learning curve with it for sure.
Yeah, you need to eat.
It takes a while to really kind of master.
Yeah, you need to eat SIP every day. So
if there's a saying, if you really want to break something, you start working with some of those.
That's right.
Come on, Leo.
Yeah, that's right. So we end up using the OpenShips on top of all of the FreeSWITCH boxes to do basically two things. The first one, I want all of my registers to be made to OpenShips, and inside the OpenShips we started using the mid registrar module. I think it's pretty new, maybe 1 year or maybe 2 years. So we started using it, and it's great. It works really well. And also after the mid registrar, we use the dispatcher since it's a register. There is no transaction dialogue involved. There is no transaction involved. We use the dispatcher module to select the next FreeSWITCH to receive the register. So the mid registrar, we receive the register packet, forward them to FreeSWITCH, but as soon as the packet is authenticated, it will keep the flow of packets between OpenShips and the extension. So you can alleviate the traffic from the FreeSWITCH side. Another thing that we had to think about was the processing of the CDR files. So the way we did with this is very similar to the FreeSWITCH events, but instead of the ESL client that we have for receiving the events, we have the CDR producer, and FreeSWITCH is always generating the CDRs to the disk. So as soon as a call finishes, it will write to the disk with JSON mod JSON CDR, and I have this process called CDR producer that will watch the disk and say, hey, there's a new CDR written from FreeSWITCH. Let's get this CDR and push to RabbitMQ to a dedicated queue. So this dedicated queue is a durable queue, and it needs to store the message on the disk. And we also use the confirmation of publishes because we don't want to lose CDRs. We can lose one event. It doesn't hurt, right? But losing a CDR could mean that we can fail generating the statistics, the reportings. So we push the CDR to RabbitMQ, and we also have a lot of CDRs consumers that will get the CDR from RabbitMQ, process them, create some database records, do some notifications. For example, if it's a CDR from extension A dialing extension B, but extension B didn't take the call, and extension B configured at the interface that every missed call, he should receive an email saying that, hey, you lost a call from extension A at that time. So this is where those actions happen. So it's like when you process the CDRs and we understand what that means, it's a call between extensions, it's a call from an external caller to a queue. we call all of the hooks that will be responsible to generating the notifications and post actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we did was the Evolux node. The Evolux node is, since we were working on the beginning at the customer premise. So if we look to this picture, the square at the bottom left, we can see as a company, the first company, okay? We use it to have the Evolux product here as an appliance. And we move it out to a cloud solution. That means without the node, if user A wants to dial the user B, the call needs to go out to the cloud and also go back to the same company, let's say. So A can talk with B, and all of the media will be flowing between the internet. And what happens if the internet goes down here for that company? A cannot call B. So we developed the node. It's like a FreeSWITCH cache and a proxy where you can put in the infrastructure. Not all of the customer wants that because sometimes you have a small customer with 10 extensions, and if they lose internet, they don't care. They just can walk to the room of each other. But if you have a little bit bigger company, they want that, because if you lose internet, the extensions are still registered to the node, and they can call between themselves. This is also true to the web phone. So user A can open the Evolux website that is on the cloud, but when the API request for a FreeSWITCH server is made, it won't return a FreeSWITCH that is hosted at the cloud. It will return based on the agent configuration, on the agent location, and other specific settings. It will return the FreeSWITCH that is running inside the node. So the web page will be opened to the cloud, but the web phone part will open a WebSocket connection to a local box. So even that, if you are using web phone, if you lose connection, you can still have your web phone online and dial local extensions. All of the media will be flowing through the node. The recording will also happen in the node. And when the internet comes back, there is a process inside the node that is responsible for offloading the files. Also the CDRs, the recordings, and also the events. Developing the node also gives us the possibility to, if you have at the right side, you have the carrier, you get an inbound call to a specific queue, for example. The call will stay in queue here in music on hold, and the RTP media path will be between the carrier and the cloud, the FreeSWITCH at the cloud. But as soon as we select an agent to get that call, if the agent is behind a node, we can dial the node and do a re-invite saying, hey, you can just exchange your media with the carrier. I don't want to be in the media path because I don't need, and the recording will happen at the node, so you can save some bandwidth here. So this architecture allowed us to do things like that. And if A wants to call C, the same process of discovering where a Verto endpoint is registered, which FreeSWITCH boxes, it also takes place in here. And if A calls C, we will use the same dial plane logic, the same dial plane routing function to discover that C is registered at a FreeSWITCH, which is remote. It's a node, and we forward the call to that node. And what we are doing today, all of the ACD stuff that relies here at the cloud, it's running on top of a mod call center. It's not the standard mod call center one. We did a few modifications because we had to implement very customized logics. But right now, we are replacing the mod call center with a custom Elixir app on top of outbound socket. So it's already working. We're just making some tests, load testing, and see how is it going. Okay.
And so you've done some work on mod call center yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So because mod call center is great, especially for the users that are coming from asterisk. It has similar concepts. There are a few concepts additional to that, but from users migrating from asterisk or another platforms, mod call center is great because it's all included. You don't need to rely on your own software to generate the agents and generate the queues and select the queue distribution logic. It's all included in the mod call center. And when we had to scale that, we had to remove that logic from selecting agents to outside
It
mod call
queries the
center.
database a lot or something, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And also, I should be able to with mod call center, it's just offering calls. So as soon as we remove the logic of selecting agents, I can use. We built a specific service to reserve agents, and I'm not limited to reserve an agent to offer a call. I can offer a chat, an email, on Twitter, Facebook. So it's easier to build multi-channel and also omni-channel app on top of that. So it's not that it's bad or it doesn't work because it's good. It does work, but for that scenario that we want, and we want to build the multi-channel and omni-channel, we can't let mod call center all of the logic of selecting agents. So we need this logic outside, even outside FreeSWITCH. And the way we did that, when a call comes to FreeSWITCH, it will be routed to a outbound socket. This outbound socket is an Elixir app. Elixir runs on top of the Erlang virtual machine. So it will be connected to that node, to Erlang node, and we just send back to the FreeSWITCH, say, hey, do a bridge with this origination or do a bridge with this unique ID. The task that the FreeSWITCH is doing is very, it's simple, it's smaller. It has nothing to do with, okay, this is a queue, the queue has this specific strategy configured, so I need to run this specific query. So we have a lot of FreeSWITCH boxes and we want them a little bit dumbed. So don't think too much. We want that logic and this specific part of the business outside that, so we can make changes easier. Even we can make changes
and all that's
without
very challenging too. Getting all that stuff right is very hard to do and very time consuming.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but turns out that Elixir is awesome. So you can get a lot of productivity with it. It's really interesting. We love Python here. We do a lot of Python development besides the front end work that we do. We are organizing the Python Brazil conference this year. It will be in 2 weeks from now, maybe. We are expecting 800 people to come to fly to here to Natal, which is the city where we live. And
Python's a great language too. I mean,
we love Python.
It does. You could do socket work with that and like literally like 1 or 2 lines of code.
Yeah. So we love Python, but Elixir is is getting more space. And Evolux as a company. So Evolux as a company, we started on 2011 with maybe the 3 founders. It was started officially at 2011. We had customers before that, 2010 or 9 maybe. And we were targeting VoIP solutions. So we were working with fax, with solutions to do only recording. For example, there's a company in a trader that wants to record all of the calls that involves money operation. So they already have the platform, the telephony platform, but they don't record the calls. So we just built a small box with E1 lines. We get the E1 from the carriers, put on this box, another E1 to the legacy telephony system, and do the recording inside of that. Pretty trivial. But for that time, a lot of people wanting that because they bought analog telephony systems, and recording calls at that time means throwing all of the money that they spend away and buying new hardware, new software. So we started doing things like that, and started with PBX. Evolux did not start as a call center solution. It started as a PBX solution. And we discovered that a specific customer had a big call center, and we just say, hey, let's build the call center module for it, and let's see if we get this customer. And it worked. And now we dropped the PBX solution. We only do call center, inbound, outbound, blended mode. And we have now 38 employees. We do a lot of outsourcing. We do outsourcing for most of the companies that we do outsourcing are from the telecom field. Start-to-Star, SignalWire, Silent Circle, Flow Route, Intuitive, Offsetone, a few other companies from Brazil. And we are growing and hiring. So a lot of fun to the future. That's it.
So one of the things, why don't you talk about some of the contributions that you've done, because you've done a lot of work, and so let's hear about that.
So I think I started doing. I don't know how I started. It was in 2013, 2014. I was doing some Confluence contributions on the week, actually. And there's no Confluence at that time. One of the biggest contributions that we did was Verto Communicator that we built with me, Stefan, Jonatas, Ken, Brian. I don't know, a lot of people working on that project. It was nice. So I think one of the biggest contributions that we did was Verto Communicator.
And we're using it now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. And we also did, we helped the wiki migration from the old wiki to the Confluence. I think there were a time where you had
a whole bunch of people working on it.
Yeah, 15 people from the company just doing copy and paste and things like that. So the page that we couldn't automate, make the translation automatic, we just copy and paste and formatting by hand. So we put a lot of people to do that job at that time. Also doing some small contributions, Mod Translate, Mod Call Center, trying to help users on the IRC, Mod Spy, opened a few Jiras, and most of them Tony just took 1 hour, 1.5 hours to fix, I think. I remember that one of them was the switch core hash table is allowing you create duplicated keys on the hash table, and this is returning garbage to some modules, and you can reach a segfault. So I opened the ticket, and went to lunch. Maybe I don't know what I was doing. And 1 hour after, I came back and reloaded the page, and it was fixed. I said, what? That was fast.
That's
And
amazing.
mod call center, we started using a lot. We did some fixes internally. Then I started opening the pull requests, talking to the guys, and few time after that, I think Mike asked, "Hey, can you take care of that for us?" Sure. And that's it. That's pretty much it.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Well, thank you for coming in today, and welcome to come back anytime you want.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in, and back to you, Ken.
All right, cool. Hey, Michael Malbrutus, thank you very much for talking with Italo today. Italo, thank you for being here today. We greatly.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, so for you guys that haven't seen Italo's work, conference.freeswitch.org, check out the Confluence page for it. There's a lot of information there. You can pop in and check it out, or you can download it yourself. Check out the FreeSWITCH VM, and it's got Verto Communicator installed already on there for you, and you can see some of the work that Italo and the rest of the guys that worked on that did. There was a lot of work that went into that. Everybody from Italo to Tony to me to Brian, about 6 people down there in Brazil with Italo. So you guys check that stuff out. It's actually some really cool stuff. But anyway, thank you very much, guys, for coming in and joining us this week. For everybody else, thank you guys for watching along. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and click that little notification button. You'll get the notifications as we post videos in the future. We'll be back here next week with another exciting guest, so you guys watch out for that. Have a good week.
You've been watching ClueCon Weekly. Tune in every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central. Keep up with the latest happenings by subscribing to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or visit us at FreeSWITCH.com.
All right. And we're clear.
Now the connection is good.